Shedeur drives down the field, picks up a big third down to Judy. Cleveland gets in field goal range. Andre Schmidt, 49-yarder.
At first glance, this was supposed to be a forgettable Week 18 game. A 5-12 Cleveland Browns team traveling to Cincinnati, playing out the string of a lost season against a Bengals squad with far more to lose. The Browns won 28. Myles Garrett broke a historic sack record, and a kicker drilled a clutch 49-yard field goal. All of that should have been the story, but none of it is what detonated the internet. What people can't stop talking about is what happened after the game. Not on the field, not on the scoreboard, but at the podium. When Shedeur Sanders walked into that press conference and said something no one expected, no one prepared for, and no rookie quarterback is ever supposed to say out loud. Spiritual battles, mental warfare, the devil attacking him, teammates pulling him back from the edge at halftime. That's when the room shifted, because this wasn't media-trained quarterback speak. This wasn't polished, sanitized NFL language. This was raw, vulnerable, unfiltered. A 23-year-old rookie drafted in the 5th round, laying his internal struggle bare in front of cameras, microphones, and an audience ready to judge every syllable. And in that moment, Shedeur Sanders became the most polarizing figure in the league overnight. To understand why this moment hit so hard, you have to understand how impossible Shedeur's situation was from the start. This is the quarterback that Skip Bayless swore should have gone first overall. The quarterback Mel Kiper ranked ahead of Cam Ward before the draft. And yet, somehow, shockingly, outrageously, he fell all the way to the 5th round. Cleveland finally took him, a pick many dismissed as a publicity stunt by Jimmy Haslam. A name grab, a headline, not a plan, except Shedeur didn't play along with that narrative. He didn't sulk. He didn't coast. He climbed from 5th on the depth chart to starter. 7 starts, 7 games where everything around him collapsed in real time. Pro Football Focus ranked Cleveland's pass blocking dead last in the entire NFL over those 7 games. Not near the bottom, dead last. And their receiving core also ranked dead last. Worst protection, worst receivers, highest degree of difficulty of any quarterback in the league, rookie or veteran. Then came the injuries. Harold Fannin Jr., his favorite target, gone. David Njoku, his best tight end, gone. Against Cincinnati, Jerry Jeudy managed 2 catches for 17 yards, and that was the leading receiver. That's what Shedeur was working with. And still, with 1 minute and 29 seconds left, after Joe Burrow had just taken the lead, Shedeur Sanders engineered a 64-yard, 10-play drive to set up the walk-off field goal. That alone should have been enough. That should have been the headline, but then he started talking. Shedeur admitted he wasn't himself in the first half. His body language was off. His energy was wrong. Everything felt heavy. He described it as spiritual battles all week long, a mental attack that followed him into the game. And then he said something that stopped people cold. At halftime, his teammates had to pull him back, not physically, emotionally, spiritually. They looked him in the eye and said 4 words that changed everything. Get back to being you. Those 4 words flipped the game. They flipped his mindset. And suddenly, the same quarterback who looked out of sync in the first half became the one who calmly marched Cleveland down the field when everything was on the line. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't flawless. Even Shedeur admitted he didn't play well by his standards. But franchise quarterbacks aren't defined by perfection. They're defined by survival, by delivering when it matters most. Then Shedeur went deeper. He talked about the devil attacking him, about people around him causing problems, about how long the year had been. Ups, downs, emotional swings that never show up on stat sheets. This isn't how NFL quarterbacks talk. Tom Brady never said this. Patrick Mahomes doesn't say this. Most quarterbacks hide behind cliches. Shedeur did the opposite. He exposed the part of the game nobody wants to admit exists. He talked about leaning on people, about needing others to speak life into you, about how you can feel empty whether you're playing or sitting on the bench, about creating your own reality when the noise gets loud. And then he dropped one of the most quietly powerful moments of the entire press conference. He revealed that one of his teammates didn't just call him during that dark stretch. He came to his house, physically showed up, sat with him, spoke life into him when he was drowning. That's not football talk. That's human talk. And it reframed everything. Because suddenly, this wasn't just about a fifth-round rookie having a good ending to a bad season. This was about survival in a league that chews players up and pretends emotional collapse doesn't exist. Shedeur said the biggest thing he won this year wasn't a game. It wasn't a stat. It was the mental battle. That line split the internet clean in half. Some people praised him, called it brave, honest, needed. Others ripped him apart, called it soft, an excuse, a red flag. Because vulnerability still makes people uncomfortable, especially in a league that worships toughness. But here's the part nobody can explain away. He backed it up. He didn't crumble. He didn't fold. He delivered, beating Aaron Rodgers 1 week, Joe Burrow the next. Back to back, on the road, with practice squad receivers. Skip Bayless noticed. He broke down the final drive in detail. 3rd and 10 from Cleveland's own 29. Shedeur hits Isaiah Bond on an out route. 13 yards, perfect ball. Then a swing pass to Dylan Sampson for 9. Then a crossing route to Judy for 11. Field goal range. Game over. Skip called him deadly accurate when given even a sliver of time. And he's been saying it since Jackson State, since Baylor, since Colorado. The clutch gene doesn't disappear just because you fall in the draft. But while Shedeur's words were going viral, another storm was brewing. Myles Garrett broke the single-season sack record with his 23rd sack of the year, a historic moment. Except the internet didn't celebrate. It dissected. Joe Burrow slid. People compared it to Brett Favre's infamous slide for Michael Strahan. Others pointed out that Garrett needed 17 games. Strahan did it in 16. TJ Watt in 15. Someone even brought up Harvey Martin's 23 sacks in a 14-game season from 1977. The Astros crowd came out in full force, and yet context matters. Garrett did this while being double-teamed constantly, while getting chipped on every snap, while playing for a 5-13 team that opposing offenses could completely ignore elsewhere. Whether people like it or not, Myles Garrett owns the record now, and 20 years from now, no one will remember the footnotes. They'll remember dominance. So where does this leave Cleveland? That's where things get uncomfortable, because all signs point to Kevin Stefanski being fired. A 2-time Coach of the Year. Reports from Diana Rossini, Adam Schefter. The writing is on the wall. Even Myles Garrett, when asked about Stefanski's future, dodged the question. He talked about wanting success, however that looks. Translation: the locker room has moved on. Skip Bayless went even further. He flat out said Stefanski never wanted Shedeur, that he worked early to sabotage him, that the two can't coexist, and that right now, Shedeur Sanders is more valuable to the franchise than the head coach. That's a stunning statement, but after the last 2 weeks, it's not insane. Cleveland now faces impossible questions. They won't have a top draft pick anymore. Trading up would cost multiple first-rounders. Is that worth it when you already have a quarterback who just proved he can win under the worst conditions imaginable? Do you build around Shedeur? Do you bring in a veteran? Do you reset everything again? Meanwhile, inside that locker room, something real is forming. Joey described the celebration after Andre Schmidt's field goal as chaotic. Water bottles flying, yelling, joy pouring out of a season that had given them very little reason to celebrate. Shedeur knew Schmidt would make that kick. He said they connected early in the year over adversity, over being doubted, over dealing with failure and pressure. That's not coincidence. That's chemistry built in the dark. And that's the real story of Cleveland's finale. Not the record, not the standings, not the draft order. It's the human element, the brotherhood, the mental battles nobody sees. A rookie quarterback admitting he needed help, teammates stepping up, a defense caring when the offense struggled, an offense delivering when it mattered most. Now, Cleveland enters the offseason in chaos, a likely coaching change, a generational defensive player with a full, controversial record, a fifth-round quarterback who just went viral for talking about spiritual warfare and mental health, and a fan base desperate for something real to believe in. One thing is clear: Shedeur Sanders is not going anywhere quietly. He's going to speak his truth. He's going to be vulnerable. He's going to talk about things the NFL pretends don't exist. And whether Cleveland is smart enough to recognize what they have remains to be seen. But the internet already knows. The clips are everywhere. The quotes are spreading. The debate is raging because Shedeur Sanders just did something no rookie quarterback has done in recent memory. He won the mental battle. He admitted his struggle. He leaned on his teammates. And when the moment arrived, he delivered. That's not weakness. That's real strength. And it might be the most important thing the Cleveland Browns have found in years, if they don't screw it up.